Hello, everybody. This is my Pecha Kucha, which is an experimental presentation of 20 slides with 20 seconds of commentary. This is based upon my research on the redevelopment of Wooster Square in New Haven, Connecticut, and I originally delivered this at the Midwest Sociological Society in April of 2019. So let's get started. I am the spirit of Wooster Square, a collective consciousness, if you will. I have been with her through transformations, and I stay with her still. I will take you on a journey of birth, destruction, and resilience from the early 1880s until the present day. Wooster Square originated in the minds of the New Orleans plantation elite. Lured there by the cotton gin, they stayed on, cooled by breezes wafting in from Long Island Sound. They built stately homes for summer use around the green space later known as Columbus Park, along the ocean front on Water Street. They called it New Township. Undoubtedly, they hired some of the Irish Bridgets who immigrated because of the potato famine. As Wooster Square industrialized, they needed room to grow and filled in the land to make Water Street an inland corridor. Hardware manufacturer Sargent's settled in and recruited workers from Italy's Amalfi Coast, farmers displaced by politics and increased taxation. The Italians eagerly accepted Sargent's offer for honest work, as the Irish left for posher environs. Eventually, Wooster Square became an Italian enclave, as a glance at the 1933 city directory reveals. Names such as Pasquale Di Longo, Domenico Franco, and yes, Giovanni Pettinito, my grandfather. Wooster Square became a thriving community of large families and numerous friends. As one denizen said, you never had to worry about friends because if one became angry with you, there were dozens of cousins to play with. At the community's center were the religious institutions. St. Michael's Church served the southern part, while St. Patrick's served the north. People settled into a rhythm of school and work. Nuns taught in both parochial and public schools alongside Anglo school teachers. As one resident said, everything you needed was there: groceries, bakeries, fish and poultry shops, furniture, clothing, everything. There was no need to leave the square for anything you needed. Wooster Square became a village within New Haven, where Southern Italian was spoken more often than English. While many residents were poor or working class, their communities sustained them. If a person was in need, a religious society would set a person up with job and housing. Stores would give away free food. People would host parties and invite the neighborhood. They even elected one of their own, William Celentano, as mayor of New Haven. And then Mayor Richard C. Lee was elected, beating Mayor Celentano by 2 votes. Friends with Senator Preston Bush, Lee secured funds to build a highway. The center of the neighborhood was to be its location. The plan was to unscramble the jumble that the neighborhood had become, create 3 districts: industrial, retail, and residential. The residential, they hoped, to return to the splendor left by the New Orleans residents of long ago. In January of 1957, disaster struck. The fire on Franklin Street took 15 of Wooster's own, mostly young women from the needle trade. The fire was proof that redevelopment was needed. Using the power of eminent domain, the New Haven Redevelopment Agency raised properties for the highway and seized others they decreed as blighted. They demolished old schools to create one central community school. They created new green spaces and modernized the homes that were left. Years of coal soot were sandblasted off exteriors. New building codes were enforced. Every home got a single bathroom and modern kitchen, but nothing was free. People had to take out low-interest loans. Low interest, but loans nevertheless. Residents kept the old neighborhood alive and centered their efforts on maintaining religious ritual. The old St. Patrick's was destined for the wrecking ball, but St. Michael's became the community backbone. People retained their affiliation with religious societies that remained. St. Andrew's the Apostle and St. Andrew's Ladies' Society were descendants of Amalfi, and St. Mary Magdalena's Society membership were descendants of neighboring Atrani. They celebrated the saints' feast days, where they revived the time-honored traditions of parading the saint statues through the streets for a church blessing and mass. Once the religious ritual ends, the feast begins, where local vendors serve up a panoply of Italian street food, pizza fritte and souffrite on an Italian roll. Even Representative Rosa DeLauro celebrates. I'm afraid, though, that even these events will end. People have forgotten the old traditions as they assimilate. The feasts are just a vestige of what they had been, and the only marker that's left is the arch that signals one's entrance into the Italian restaurant row. Nevertheless, my spirit will remember it in the films, books, and stories told by those who care. Thank you for listening.